looking at economic recovery in the country and the anti-graft measures under President Bola Tinubu is what we're about this morning. And I have guests in the studio with me, starting from my immediate left. Is a clergyman and, of course, a robust legal practitioner, Greg Iyayi. Big thanks for joining me, Greg.
Good morning, Philip, and good morning, viewers at home.
And next to Greg is another clergyman, a public affairs analyst, and he is the senior pastor of Sword of Liberation Bible Church, Bishop Austin Igbasan. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me. Good morning, viewers.
Okay, we get across to Zoom, where we are having another legal practitioner joining us via Zoom, and he is Matthew Edalese. Good morning, Matthew.
Good morning, Philip. Thanks for having me.
Thank you and welcome. And let's quickly hit the ground running and starting with you, Greggy. We've been on this issue about economic recovery, and the president has brought about different agendas, stating that he's going to make sure that he's able to, change the tides in terms of fighting graft. Now, under President Bola Tinubu's administration so far, do you see policy implementation as moving towards recovering plans of the economy?
Well, if you look at the policies so far, when we are talking of recovery, we are talking of the economy of the individual, then the economy of corporate bodies like companies and other business outfits. We will see whether they are actually enjoying some measure of recovery. So far, because of the cost of living and the cost of operation, we haven't seen much recovery. Whatever figures are thrown up, by specialists, experts, statisticians, does it actually trickle down to the individual having some ease, having some relief, and then the various companies with the tax regime, with the cost of fuel, with the proposed increase in the tariff of a telecom, and then also with what we are already saying, if you make any transaction on POS now, you know the deduction, and for each transaction you make in a day, there's going to be a tax of 50 naira. Just imagine how that tells on an individual, how that tells on other people. So if you are talking of recovery, you'll be talking of the profit margin of a company, because the cost of rendering services and producing goods actually erodes the profit margin of the various corporate bodies. Then the cost of borrowing, that's another issue, the interest rates. If I borrow money from the bank to do a business, what is it going to cost me to pay back that loan in the present circumstance? So when we have done that and then the employment figures are going up, we can be talking of economic recovery. If not, we are still on the road and we just hope we get there.
Okay, let's take your thoughts, Austin Igbasan, most especially as regards the fight against graft in bringing about recovery, because we saw it on the pages, even when it's been reported by SERAP and other bodies that the president should probe the 26 billion naira, fraud in the NNPC as alleged.
If you look at the level of corruption under Buhari, you see it is something that, I won't call it unsurmountable, but we can see that during Buhari's regime, when you talk of one corruption in the morning, while you are still shouting about it in the afternoon, something that is bigger. It's just like the rod of Moses that swallowed the rod of the Egyptians. And where you see, you remember in this studio, chronologically, how we have attacked that government of different kind of level of corruption that was, they were all swept under the carpet. But to this present regime, I think we should give it to him. When God is a God of plan, you see, if a woman is pregnant, she will not even know until after 30 days when she will see her menses. And within that period, where you still talk of those who are looking for baby, the woman will still raise up her hand, not even knowing that she's already pregnant. So what I'm trying to establish there is that before neighbors will know, it will be up to 4 months before the stomach will begin to protrude. So there are some level of development that has happened in the anti-graft we're talking about. If you remember the former governor of CBN, you saw the recovery and the estate and so many things that were brought back. So when you talk of recovery, you are talking about bringing ability to be able to go after an offender, discover and investigate whatever the person has stolen, and be able to go after that person for total recovery. Yeah. I can tell you for free that Godwin Ebefele, most of the things that the guy did that are fraudulent, I can tell you for free that 70% of the evasion that we can call corruption within him has been brought back into the coffer of government, even without sending him to jail. I think that is a major breakthrough. You see, during Buhari regime, you see that they will pursue a case for 8 years where the man who stole from government will use that bogus money to be fighting in court, going up and that. My brother here is a lawyer. They are also part of people that they are given to run after the something. So it's just like you use the money of the man you have taken from to fight him. So and we saw here things that took almost 8 years and doesn't see the light of the day. But being able to, even with plea bargain, how many persons are you be able to leap in the days of Buhari that will say, oh, plea bargain, we're able to get back this. So I want to say, with looking at what happened in Kogi governor and all that, who is also part of that same party, I think that you see some effort of going after people who are corrupted to be able to see how we bring back whatever they have stolen from the government. So because it is not, we can't clap when somebody is given 3 months jail when they are stealing the patrimony of a whole state, and we clap for that one. That one is not a breakthrough, because what was stolen is still in the coffer of the person you call the corrupt person. So I think there is no gain in saying, oh, this man stole our patrimony, we have been able to send him to 3 months jail. When he comes back from there, he continues to use the money that he has taken. So I feel that what we have seen within a few moments, somebody like former governor of Kogi, as far as the party is concerned, when you see the role that was played during the Naira saga, you would think that such person is not somebody that that the EFCC should go after. Yeah. If I look at the pattern of politics in Nigeria, such a man who came out during the Naira saga and he played a prominent role and all that, and you knew the effect of the Naira on the campaign of the sitting president that time as a candidate of the party. So I think going after such person, moving him to court with all the jumping here and there, running up and down, that at the end of the day the man is in court, and I can tell you for free that those things that were that happened under him will not be swept under the carpet, no matter the size. So I think that there is a sense of recovery, and I tell you that the kind of corruption that have taken place is not something you can do in 1 week and bring everybody on board. But I think that NNPC you are talking about, I can tell you for free that it's not swept under carpet. The kind of man we have in the EFCC now is a man that does not look at your face, that does not look at your figure. And you remember yesterday, the man also talked about how the masses themselves support people who are looting and empty the treasury. The masses, you see somebody have taken the patrimony of a state, he's been arrested or been invited by EFCC. You will see Lozira's boss carrying people, the same people he looted, will now be outside the area and begin to embarrass operatives, begin to embarrass and be singing praises for a man who have looted them dry. So I think that apart from government, thank God for SERAP and other organizations who are talking to the government to be on their feet, but I think that the masses themselves, who have been brainwashed to believe that, oh, this man, oh, it is they are trying to fight against him, or they didn't like him, he's not in their line, that's why they are fighting. Why we are talking about this man took our things? We should go after the thief who took our things and give us back. It's not about saying it's my elder brother's son, it's my village person. So the masses should wake up to be able to even shout to the rooftop, just as all these organizations are calling on government, say, look at it, let's go after this, so that we can see that corruption cases are not endless cases. So what we have seen under with Godwin Emefiele is not about taking somebody and doing a rally and saying we are taking him to court, he's coming out of court, but we are able to say this man have taken this and that, we have been able to get this one back from him. So the rest few things that remain, that 30%, the man is dancing his music now. But I can tell you for free, if it was during Buhari's government, what happened to Emefiele? We will fight it for 8 years without recovering one flat or one bus from him. So with this bogus recovery from him, look at the estate in Abuja. Even though if somebody has such a state, he doesn't need to go to heaven because he has already inherited the heart. So to discover that, you can't say that is a sleepless night and a string operation of men who are mandated to fight corruption. So I can tell you for free that we told Olukoyede, the head of EFCC, is a forthright person that you cannot just talk to. He say A, B, C, D. There is a call from so place. You saw the way he comes to the public, and it's open to every person. He told us about Kogi that somebody called him and said, don't try that. He said, this man has to appear. It's not about size. It's not about who you are. So I think that we can't compare EFCC under Magu with what we saw and this Olukoyede. You know, remember Olukoyede is the secretary of EFCC during Magu's time. And one of the reasons why they laid him off that time was that they told him about a case that must not fly to court. And the guy said no. The president was interested in that case, and that was the reason why he was removed. So when we talk about fighting corruption, I can tell you that there is no docility.
Okay, you spoken well as regards this, but some of the view that, well, if we see such monies or recoveries from those who looted, you know, or who were alleged to have looted, you know, get into the treasury, how transparent is the government, you know? How can we perceive of the government in using this money, you know, to affect lives of the common man? And let's go to you, Matthew. You are a legal practitioner. Looking at the measures, because I don't know if you agree with Bishop Austin Igbasan on the ride he made as regards, you know, the efforts of the president. But looking at what we have, have you seen any policy or anti-graft, you know, measures by the president that has yielded results in terms of economic recovery for the country?
Philip, thanks for having me. The question cannot get a very definite answer just now. The event are still unfolding. We are observing with keen attention and great expectation as the people who have been traumatized over the years through the bogus looting of the public treasury by those saddled with the duty to manage our resources, most specifically government appointees and elected government officials. So if the result of fight graft is real and genuine, it is not a question of propaganda or campaign. It's a question of facts speaking for itself. If those who are guilty of graft are given speedy trial and sent to prison, and all assets that they corruptly enriched themselves with are recovered from them, we will be talking of real progress. Besides that, cosmetic activities, media hype and all of that is not what we need at this point in time. We want to see recovered loot. We want to see those loot being deployed to developmental needs of the people. Until this is done, we can't say it is victory or uhuru.
Right, so good submission there from Mr. Matthew. Now, my question goes to you, Mr. Igbosan, because you made some very germane point, especially with regards to how corruption has been fought or is still being fought in the Tinubu-led administration vis-a-vis, you know, in Buhari's administration. And you said, so far so good, the approach towards recovery of our, you know, nation's patrimony is so speedy compared to what we saw during Buhari administration. But of course, you would understand that the way we fight corruption in this country is more like an anti-clockwise approach. Permit me to use that word, because we've seen cases where in developed society, before an individual who is alleged to have been corrupt is arraigned in court, investigation would have first commenced. Watertight evidence would have been first established, so much so that it gives the individual no chance of escape. But in Nigeria here is the reverse. You'll find someone who has been alleged to have committed a very heinous crime, perhaps money laundering or some sort of misappropriation of funds. He is first of all being arraigned in court. There is this media parade of him here and there, and then by the time he has been arrested, then you are told that investigation has commenced. Should that be the way you approach the fight against corruption?
when you talk of fight against corruption, under this government, I'm telling you now, you remember a few weeks ago, EFCC officers who are found liable in stealing some of the recovered loot are being taken care. Have you ever had that one before under any president? That you see EFCC officer, because you see the people you are fighting with now, some of them are deeply rooted. Don't forget that the people we are talking about that are corrupted now, they are well rooted. If you what you said about corruption is, you see, when we talk about it, you can't remove the whistleblower, you can't remove the masses, because there is nobody that will steal in this country that will not use civil servant. Most times you look at politicians that they are more corrupt. I tell you that civil servants are more corrupt than politicians, because don't forget that the civil servants are the people on seat who knew the terrain, who run they run the daily business. So they are the one that will tell okay, you have just been made governor now. These are the channel where we can take money from. This is how we go about it. Don't forget that the man they are showing the road, they know the road more than the man. By the time the man is looting 10 million, they themselves as a sitting civil servant. You remember an accountant general in this federation, accountant general of this federation under Buhari. You remember how many billion the guy stole? Only one man, and he's the accountant general of the federation. Today, what has happened to the man? The man goes to court with agbada, go like somebody that go to vacation. Why? Because he came from one part of Nigeria. And we remember then, late Tafa Balogun was not really corrupt. What Tafa Balogun was arrested for then were things that were given to him as IG. And you remember how Nuhu Ribadu put chain even in his leg inside court. But you see Abba Kyari today go into the court with his wife as if they are going to Dubai. Now, I am just trying to point some things that happened that were bogus corruption. That was the man that they said they hired the best police cop in Nigeria, not even knowing that he is deeply corrupted. You remember when Abba Kyari was arrested, that 2 governors went to visit him in his village. 2 sitting governors today went to see him. That gives you an information. 2 sitting governors, one of them is a professor that everybody celebrate. When the guy started saying, if they send me there, you people will come and join me, I will open my 2 sitting governors went to see him at home. Somebody that was supposed, the man who had EFCC before, with all what he's told, you remember the way he was welcome in his village, a young man that we are talking of, put the younger generation there. I come to this issue of talking about, we know all these things, but the EFCC itself are trying to wash themselves, because don't forget that there is a clause in EFCC that when you track a man, if you are able to get all what he stole, it was Obasanjo that put it there. If you are able to track all what the guy has stolen, there is a portion that goes to you as an investigator. Just it was done so as to steer you up to be able to monitor and do a painstaking investigation.
But it doesn't address the question I asked. My question is, why do corrupt public office holders arrested, arraigned in court, and then you say they are going on investigation? More like going anti-clockwise. Because first, you should have investigated, because looking at the way anti-graft agencies and of course, agencies that are saddled with going after corrupt people in the US, you are being investigated. You might not even have any knowledge about the fact that you are being investigated. Yeah. But I tell you, the day you will be arrested and arraigned in court, there is 0 chances of you escaping it, because there's watertight information about you. I am asking you a question. Why do we do media parade? Why do we do arraigning of individuals before we go back to start investigating?
Like you are citing the example of Western world.
Yes, that's the way it should be.
Yes, I'm also telling you that it happens there.
It happens
here in America that we are talking about. And I can tell you for free, Alame say I left UK and dressed like a woman and entered this country. Is it Jesus that courier him? I want to tell you, in UK, is it Jesus that brought him? And I'm just trying to tell you, I don't want you to hype America. I'm coming to your question. I'm just trying to tell you.
Emphasizing on the system
I'm still coming to what you are saying. Just listen to me. Because the way you are hyping Western world, that's why I just...
There should be a standard. There should be a standard.
You have asked me a question. Right. Let me come to your question. I just try to tell you that when we are hyping this, hyping that, we should not go over hyping, because it also happened. I'm telling you today, as we are sitting here, the highest Yahoo is in US. But when we are talking, the highest Yahoo you are talking about. So when you are talking of hyping, maybe because of we have traveled wide all over the place, so don't hype. Let us just look at how you run the system. The system we are talking about is that you cannot arrest a man who is corrupt and be able to get all the detail of his corruption before you arraign him, except if he's just a minor thief. Maybe somebody is stealing from a councillor. That is, well, if you look at the people we are talking about, you hear somebody who is an accountant general sitting down with consultant, and they have massive property everywhere. You can't be able to track everything the man have at once before you carry him to court. Now I tell you, do you know that in state CID here, I don't know if it has happened now, they don't have a tracker. Now that tells you that tracker that a Yahoo boy can use on his phone to track somebody with drone. Or a sitting command does not have a tracker. And when you look at their budget every year, you will see all these things being budgeted for. So when we are talking, I praise some of our guys who are working, because one, the American you are talking about, with just your plate number, the history of your salary, everything happening. I was inside the car with one of my friends in UK. We were number 35 in the queue. They have already pulled us out, number 35 in the go slow. They have already pulled, and even the dashboard of the guy has already blinked the light that your insurance has expired. And the guy didn't know. They pulled us from number 35. They didn't put stick on the road. They didn't put stone on the road. They inside the dashboard, they flash us just with motorcycle. We are number 35. We have to park. And right from there, they use tow van to carry that vehicle to their office. From there, we took a cab. No explanation work, because it is about the system. When you are talking about the system, you are talking about things that are put in place that can make you track.
That's why I wanted you to talk about what could be done to strengthen the system. Because when you say developed society have everything it takes, and it's unfortunate, you are saying despite the appropriation given to that particular agency, yet you say they do not have a single tracker. Now, my question to you, Mr.
Are you satisfied with my answer now?
Yes, you have said that they do not have a single tracker, which a Yahoo boy does. Yeah. Now, my question to you, Mr. Greg, would be, what is your take on what he has just said when it comes to recovery? Because a nation as large as Nigeria, to the tune of more than 200 million, cannot be saying that we do not have a single tracker. So, how far are we from corruption fighting when we do not have tracker?
Well, he said the command does not have, not the entire nation.
Is that not unfortunate?
Very, very unfortunate. All right. Because what he had just said, I have a matter at State CID, and not at State CID, the AIG's office, they told me that the phone has to be tracked in Abuja, and that they don't have it.
Please, can you say that again, please?
Yes. They told me that the phone has to be tracked in Abuja, that they don't have the facility for tracking it here. So I was perplexed, very, very perplexed, because I feel that that is what even an individual can have and can do. So let's leave that. But again, when we are talking of recovery, all these monies that are recovered, you see, what baffles me is this. They will say we recover this, we recover this. And the next day we are going to China to borrow.
Exactly.
Why are we borrowing when we are recovering money, substantial amount that can make impact? What are we doing with what has been recovered? You see, this is where it annoys me if sometimes we say that we are making effort in the area of recovery. Okay, money recovered from so person, we are using it for this. We are dedicating it for that. You know that UCH, for some time now, they have not had lights because they are unable to pay their bill. So what I'm saying is that you are recovering money that was stolen, and you are announcing it as part of your achievement. What are you doing with the money? And then tomorrow you say you are going to this institution, IMF, to borrow. You are going to China to borrow. You are going to that place to borrow. So often uses that. I wonder what managed the economy of this country during civil war as finance minister. And we didn't borrow a dime. And no civil servant was owed salary. No government contractor was owed any payment. So what is actually happening? So that is why sometimes, you know, some people want to lose faith in the anti-graft agencies, that even this effort you appear to be making, that what is actually the benefit of it? How does it trickle down to me? My telecom tariff is being increased. My child's school fees in tertiary institution is being increased. My electricity tariff is being increased.
Everything.
The pump price, you have taken me from about 200 to 1,000.
Cooking gas.
So cooking gas is being increased. So how does it benefit the common? Because if you look at all these things I've mentioned, these are the things that concern the common man. The price of cooking gas, pump price of fuel, school fees, telecom fee, electricity tariff. These are the things that concern us. We are not asking for jets, we are not asking for plane, but we are asking for this. And if all you are doing does not trickle down to giving me relief in any of these areas, I have a right, my God, give me some space to say that your efforts may not be yielding. Pregnancy, even the time of pregnancy, is defined. It's 9 months.
It's 9 months.
If it goes beyond that, then there's something wrong.
It's abnormal.
It's a prayer request.
All right. Let's get to you. I think it's becoming interesting. It shows from what we've said so far. Some have already suggested that we've been running a sad commentary as a country in terms of governance and how can we change the narrative. Now, back to you, Matthew. Do you see hope in light or in sight as regards the president's policies in fighting corruption? Do you see hope inside that what he could be implementing in that aspect could bring about, improving the economy, bring about employment, bring about, improve in the value of the naira? Do you see all of these changes soon? And if yes, what should be rejected by the presidency?
Policy alone is not enough. Neither can we live on hope alone. Hope is anchored on expectation of what is going to happen. And that thing, until it happens, the hope becomes a hopeless hope. We will be excited if the president say he wants to tackle the issue of corruption headlong. But it is the result of that resolve that will actually impress the people of Nigeria. Like I've said earlier, you claim to be fighting corruption, and corruption is not decreasing. We see it every day on our streets. In fact, we have to sit down as a people and define what we know as corruption. Strictly speaking, we seem to adopt and endorse some kind of corruption and pretend to be fighting others' brand of corruption. That is one side. There's another angle of selective fights against corruption. Certain persons appear to be enjoying some kind of immunity, or do I say impunity, against this fight, on this fight against corruption. For instance, you can't tell me you are fighting corruption, and as we drive around the country, you see policemen extorting motorists across the length and breadth of the country, and we accept that as a norm. If that is not corruption, then tell me what corruption is. That is the foundation of corruption in any society, where people who are saddled with the duty of enforcing laws have resorted to criminal activities of extorting money, collecting bribe openly, brazenly, and unchallenged. And the leaders are saying these things on the street, and they have accepted as a norm. Is that a sign of a resolve to fight corruption, or an endorsement of corruption officially? Because if you cannot stop policemen or security agents across the country from extorting money from motorists, we appear to have adopted corruption as our way of life, officially speaking. That's one. Then the fight against corruption proper, looting of public treasury, which has become an emblem of the nation. We cannot claim to be fighting corruption, and the corruption issue is increasing by leaps and bounds. The money recovered from anti-corruption fight, where is the money going into? All the money returned by the Western world from Abacha loots, where is the money going into? Like he said a while ago, you can't be recovering so much and be borrowing so much at the same time. That is paradoxical. You cannot be having so much and be begging so much. A nation that has recovered so much loot of its resources cannot now be going cap in hand begging other nations. for loans, aids, and grants. Just a few days ago, Donald Trump announced the withdrawal of United States aids to several countries, Nigeria inclusive. And people are mourning and they are groaning. Why are you crying over pittance from other countries when you have a nugget, a gold nugget, to supervise and administer? So this is the irony of the whole situation. Anti-corruption fight is not a mere pronouncement that should be celebrated. It should be a resolve anchored on practicality. We want to see it in clear color that corruption is being fought, and the process of that fight is reflective in our way of life, in our national development. We want to see good roads. We want to see infrastructures. We want to see affordable electricity tariff. We want to see affordable healthcare system. Until these are put in place, it is like a merry-go-round thing. We cannot be celebrating what we cannot feel and touch.
Let's take your last bite on this. And the concern here is about the 26 billion naira fraud as alleged in the petroleum industry, and the demands on the presidency to, probe that. The report has been on even since 2021, and there's a fresh, rejig on that the president should do that. Now, do you see the will, political will, on the part of the president in this respect to tackle this probe, to make sure that these funds are recovered if actually they are guilty as alleged?
When each time we take a look at the petroleum sector, it's a signpost of our national predicament. We are so blessed with crude oil resources, but it has inflicted more pain on Nigeria than pleasure. As we speak, all nations that are oil producing, they profited from the Ukrainian war, the oil price increase. But all we got in Nigeria was pump price increase for the citizens, importation of what we should be exporting, petroleum products, and an excuse that because of the exchange rate, what we are supposed to be having produced locally is not determined by the exchange rate of dollars to naira. This is an irony of a fate that has been bestowed on Nigeria by unfortunate circumstances. So the petroleum industry and corruption appear to be CMS twins. They are interwoven. You cannot be talking of petroleum industry in Nigeria without mentioning corruption. Otherwise, you are not capturing the discourse properly. Whatever they say is happening there is not going to be doubted by anybody, because we are all aware, even the blind could see that corruption is the reason how we have oil, and now we are wallowing in algebra. Whatever they allege there is not imaginary. If what they are alleging is not correct, 100%, they are saying that over 50% of the allegation is true. And the question is, who will bear the cat? If it is established, what next? Who will be brought to book, and who is going to bring who to justice? Because everybody that matters appear to be then deep involved in the corruption going on in that sector. So fighting it is a tall order, because until you clear the audience table, the fight will be just political and cosmetic. There is no resolve to fight corruption in that sector, honestly speaking.
Thank you so much, Matthew Edegase, barrister at law and human rights lawyer in that regard. We wish you the best as you go about your normal duties. We wish you the best ahead of the day.
All right, so Mr. Igbason, you heard what Mr. Matthew said earlier. Nigeria tends to be fighting corruption from the top to the bottom rather than from the bottom top. When I was coming to Benin, I lost count on the several roadblocks I met. And at each of those roadblocks, there are security agencies who are extorting money from various means from motorists. So what would you say about that when it comes to our fight against corruption?
It's painful that some of those things, I think it is something that we have what you said is right. There was a day I was coming from Lagos. On the road, I counted 32 between Lagos and here. 32, I asked my protocol to be writing down each of the police checking point, including army. Everything is 32.
Did you say including army?
Yes, so including army
at the checkpoint.
Yes, army checkpoint. You have I counted all was 32 from Lagos. Army. No,
okay, including the
police checking point. What I'm saying is that
what about the custom?
You say a custom is there.
Okay.
I didn't count the custom. I think the custom is about 5 or 6. Right from Shagamu, you see them at different spots and all that. Road safety is there, and the rest of them. So I asked myself the question. The question is that, do you know that the time of travel is affected?
True.
The vehicle itself, when you apply brake, is affected. Fuel itself is affected. The vehicle, for the vehicle, the durability of the vehicle is affected. Even lives. You say security agencies. I have seen them where they cause accident. Look at the one that happened yesterday. That they were the one that caused it. And look at those lives. Immediately they left the place. I think that, like I said at the beginning, I said the masses that is supporting. Because when you ask question and you look at those policemen, their pocket is pregnant. They take the money and give change.
But there was a time in this country where the IG of police banned or put a ban to roadblocks on the road. What actually happened?
There is no IG that will sit down that will tell you that the police checking point is not shut down. But I think it is just a statement. There is no enforcement. We used to have an IG squad that can just go and just show themselves to policemen and all the rest of them. But I think it is a deliberate action. Don't forget that these people that are put on the road, the money is not going to the sky. The money moves like a borehole that you are pumping from down. You pump the water and it goes to the GP tank.
So are you by that analogy saying that the IG is also at the profiting end?
You can't rule it out. There is nobody that become IG today who is no product of roadblock from beginning, either as ASP or as a CSP or whatever. We can't say I'm not part of a team when I have power to as a CP of Edo State now. There is a squad called CP squad that can go outside, even in Mufti. They can even take public transport and go outside and show themselves to the police at the checkpoint and say, hereby we disarm you, remove your cap, remove your belt, and put them inside. What has happened to that escort? IG also have an escort. So I disagree that IG will say it's not aware that his men are collecting, or there is not a channel where the thing is moving from one point to the other and go there. At the time we have a CP in this state, when the guy came, even all the DPO sat down. He's a member of Deeper Life. When David Omojola was here, when you as a DPO, when you are coming to, he said, go back to your station. I don't need anything. Go and sit down. Don't let me hear any crime there. Everybody said, when we have a CP Emmanuel, he's retired now. He retires DIG, both of them. That was the man that put camera in state CID everywhere. Even at that time, you see police want to collect anything for you. Say, meet me for Mega Station, meet me for Mr. Biggs. They can't collect because the man position camera in state CID. They dare not collect anything.
Can you say that again?
Yeah, I said the man is a CP Emmanuel. It's an Igbo man. He came here, he retired as DIG. When he came, he was the one that plants CCTV everywhere in his office. He sees what is happening. So if you want to tell anybody, and the man stand up at random and just go to the cell, he will just get up as CP and walk around and go to that office. What is happening there? Open that cupboard there. Open this one. Some of these police stations, when you get there, the box there, when they open it, is bigger than First Bank. What you have there, some ATM didn't have it. How are you going to tell me you are going to say you are not in the system? We must wake up and change it. Look at it. Okay, look at the roads. You see what is happening. The road safety today, if you give them your particular, you have to put something inside. Now, if somebody is filming them, you will see that the person is filming them. They go back and beat the person or do something. That was the day I was coming. I was coming with my wife, and we got to this army checkpoint after Ovia. They used that army checkpoint, road safety. One man was not ready to give them money. They used the checking point to lose his tire. They lose the van. And within 2 minutes that the guy left there, the vehicle went flat. All the passengers came out. Because how do you explain that one? I told you just now that we are in London and they pulled us number 35. Just their phone is in their hand. They have already pulled us off. There is no discussion about it. The man just parked and the tow van just carried. When the man want to start talking, the wife said, you know I work with the queen. Don't do explanation. These guys, they don't pull you out without that you have not done your insurance. The man want to argue, he said, don't argue with them. Just let them. In our present, they airlift the car and they took it away. That is a system, and the people working there. Now, what is it? Do you know that even those days, we have police in the primary, in the school, the days of NSO, that you will not know is a policeman, is a teacher in that school. They position them that time. They gather information. Now, how do we talk about this? It is about leadership. One thing I know about Nigeria is that when they see somebody who is a leader that is ready to get up and work, people will queue behind. I want to see the IG, if he listens to what I'm saying now, that what I'm saying is that all over the country, I look at these policemen, they do it with impunity. You see the way they rough and do people. If I know that, the way they put those things on the road. I lost a friend 2 years ago to this stone they put on the road. He left the village. He's going to Lagos. Where they arranged taking point, he never saw it on time, and he ran into it. He died there. Now, why do we? The road we have done constructed well. Why should we use something to? They will cover it from end to end, and when they are leaving, they also leave it there to cause problem for other people. So, in taking our point home, in coasting home, what do you think needs to be done right about now to put a stop to the roadblocks that you said led to the untimely death of your friend? Because a whole lot of Nigerians are also going through all of this, aside from the extortion, the timing,
blatant extortion going on in daylight.
You see it, like I said, it's pole to pole. From here, you see another one there. You see another one there. You see another. You can see the other one from the other end. What are we protecting? What I think is that the government hearing us now, and the police force, and also the masses. The masses must have a day we go to and meet either the commissioner of police or those who are in Abuja, move in there and say this police checking point. And one of the painful things is that when you go to the north, you don't see this kind of thing you are seeing now. You know, when you are coming from Lagos now, the number of checkpoints you have to this place, when you are going back, you don't have such number, because they know that when you are coming from Lagos, you are coming with goodies. When you are going to Lagos, you are going to make money. So we have lesser roadblock there. What happened to we have a new CP in Edo State here, who is also an indigene, who we have known her to be a very good woman. All the places she has worked, she has performed excellently well. I want the CP, if she's hearing me now, she should take a step. All those checkpoints, upper mission everywhere. Right. Set up your X squad to go. Let us start it from state to state, and let the federal, even the IG, should monitor the people, because they have an IG squad. And let us see that when the police is arrested, it's not just transfer.
Okay, so you've made your point brilliantly. So, Mr. Greg, so what would you say as regards that in just a minute?
What I would like to say is that it should start from the top. We are talking about the police and the IG. Right now, the tenure of the IG has expired, and he is still in office. That one is causing a lot of debate and tension. So if we are talking of an IG doing the right thing, are you talking of an IG whose tenure has expired and still remains in office? So those are issues that one should look at. This has to start from the top. And then if you are talking of corruption not being there, you know, I would like our president to be an example. The president, the costs of governance, starting from his office, should be cut down. And we should actually see the motorcades. Look at the motorcade of some of the people in civilized countries. It shouldn't be like that, because the fuel, the personnel that go into it, they are sucking government money. So let us start from the top, and then it will trickle down eventually. Because like Bishop has said, if they see a leader who is ready to do the right thing, the other people will follow. So our leaders should lead by example.
Okay, you still have the floor. Let's look at interventions, you know, to strengthen the anti-graft agencies like the EFCC, the ICPC. What do you see as an edge for the government to do in changing the tides?
I agree that the present EFCC chairman is determined. But let me say this, he needs to be supported. True. Because what if somebody who is very influential, close to people at the top, gets involved in the matter? You know, he is a man under authority, although he's a man in authority. So he has to be supported. The president should support him as much as possible. We, the lawyers, should also support him. And then the judicial system should actually give the kind of ruling according to evidence that is placed before them without fear and favor. And then the common man, like our bishop has said, should not celebrate or embrace all these people that have stolen their common patrimony, and then they are coming to give them grinding machine, motorcycle, and all those things. Whereas they have stolen the money made for building a hospital. Look at the case of Ekweremandu. The transplant that the daughter went for, money was actually budgeted for a hospital to be built in this constituency. Half of the money had been released. And when they now went for the other half, they were told that that money has been released since, has been collected since. By whom? He was the one who was in charge. But look at the tragedy. So I want to say this, that corruption has a payday, and that one day, someone who is benefiting from corruption now can be the victim.
Okay, I don't know if Matthew Degase is still with us on Zoom. Matthew Degase, if you're still there, then we're going to be giving you this question. Yes, thank you for still sustaining your presence. And now, let's look at the need for us to strengthen institutions. We don't want personalities to be stronger than institutions. Rather, it should be the otherwise. And we've always seen situations where, you know, there's political interference in terms of making sure that things work in this country. Most times we see parties members cross-carpeting from one party to another in order to get forgiveness, in order to get attention, you know, in order to avoid retribution. Now, what do you advise the president, President Bola Tinubu? And of course, how should we go about, you know, making sure that institutions are stronger than men, and making sure that even those of his party, you know, are brought to book if they broke the edge?
Institutions cannot be strong on its own.
Okay.
There must be it's the box top at the table of the leadership. The leadership wants the institution to be strong and to function, it will function. If Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the CNC of the country today, says any policeman caught along the road extorting money will be summarily dealt with, that rubbish will stop. It will not only say it, it will set out machinery in place that will make sure these people are monitored and sanctioned accordingly. So you can't sit back and say the institution should be strong. Who will run the institution? They are human beings. Yes. If the human beings run the institution are corrupt, the institution can never be effective, it can't be strong. It will be sabotaged for self-benefit. That is the predicament. Institution anywhere that is strong is because the people running it have a resolve to let it work and function. And it emanates from the will of the number one citizen. It is not out of wishful thinking. Institution will not be brought from the sky to drop and function like a robot. Human persons will run the system. And those who make policies must have the resolve and the sincerity of purpose to let the system work. Anything short of that, it is wishful thinking to be dreaming of a institution that is strong when human beings are adulterated. Human minds or leadership are adulterated.
Thank you. Well, let's quickly ask you this question, because we need to be, you know, be very, very focused if we must change the narrative. Some have said that, well, even the president, you know, is good at, you know, bringing his party members and making them to have a benefit of the patronage of governance. I don't know if you see him in that light. Of course.
There is no, you see, when we talk of politics, politics talk about interest, and the interests are divided. The interest is, number one, interest to serve the people. The second interest is that interest to also service the people around you. I don't see anything wrong in appointing Joshua, Mr. Joshua, right?
You're right.
Now, I know Joshua all the way from secondary school, and I know how he performed while we were in secondary school. I decided to put him in charge of Subeb because I know his capacity, that he would deliver well. If he decides to have some people and fix them who are also square peg in square hole, don't forget that politics is about human being. You are not going to bring machine or robot to come and administer. And also anybody that support you for an interest. Oh, we want to serve the people, we want to also be part of it. If somebody have a waste management or have a truck, and I decide to say, okay, use your waste, your truck, I want to give you a contract to run the waste management of Ugbawo. That is not a sin in politics. Okay, so what if we talk about that, you must talk about President is somebody who have raised men, ran the nation, ran the world. So he's somebody that believes in relationship. And that God also need man. That is why God created man. That is why he come down from up to play with them. They didn't go upstairs to meet him. He's the one that come to their level every evening. So as far as politics is concerned, it's about interest. Number one, you can't say a governor make his enemy to become commissioner of finance. Because why? You needed somebody that can advise you. You can talk, this is what we want to do. This is what we want to do. So Mr. President is somebody that believes in everybody, and he's not somebody that is party driven. If you see what Ododo did in stopping EFCC of arresting a former governor, if it were other president, he would silence. They won't go after that man, say it's my party man. I knew the role he played when I was running this something. But the man still went ahead and made sure that that's why the guy was jumping up and down. If it were under the former republic, we know what happened. When SDF, grass cutting contract, we shouted to rooftop. It took the man 3 years. That we continue to shout on something that is very. So I think that we can't rule it out, but it is about leadership. Recently, I fly an aircraft with a sitting governor of a state who sat in economy. You don't see that one. It is all those who have ruled in that state. It is private jet, helicopter from one point to another. So when we see such leader who are not wasters, who decide to sit, the governor was sitting down, they all sit around him, was not close. People sat around him. The deputy governor was sitting down, people sat around him in economy. So that is the kind of leadership we are talking, not a leadership that will be looting and will be living extravagant lifestyle. Now, when the governor was speaking on the airport, the convoy is just 3. Have you seen that one before? Other people, when they are going to 23, 24, just like my barrister said here, because that's one of the presidents of America, when he left office, they played the clip of how many persons who have left their home, who are security operative to save his life. The man was in tears. Okay. So this man, so what I think is that politics is about relationship.
Okay, but to cap it up, there is need for us to look at a way of the president or the government, really making retribution, for all of these issues. Because some have said that when there is an issue of corruption, the president may look the other way and keep a blind eye, being that they are party members. We have the aspect of the Betu Edu story that we are still yet to see, conclusions in that regard. Exactly. And then, of course, even the 26 billion naira in the petroleum industry, some have said that the president may take it with kid gloves, but we don't know how that is going to be off.
With the step taken so far, yes. I will disagree with you that the president will look elsewhere. Okay. I've just given you an instance of SGF here now. Okay. That SGF that the man sees, even when people ask the SGF ask the journalist, say, who is presidency? And the sitting president is sitting down. He said, who is presidency? Okay. When they ask him, so what I think is that as far as this president is concerned, is somebody that is firm, is somebody that is focused, is somebody that wants result, is somebody that will not be scared, okay, to ask somebody to exit if the person is not free.
I would like him to anchor from that point.
I would like to take what he has said with healthy suspicion. Egbetukun was the ADC to Tinubu when he was governor. His tenure has expired. Is it that there is no other trustworthy, capable, qualified policeman in the entire Nigerian police force, even if a Yoruba man or somebody close to him that can replace him? Those are the kind of things that we are looking at. And then, like the Betty Edu case, how long has that woman been found, at least, or alleged to have done something? It was only removed from office. Has she been prosecuted? If she's been prosecuted, what's the stage of the prosecution? So this is why sometimes we are forced to believe in what Oshomole said, that come all ye to APC and I sin shall be forgiven you.
And to even add to that,
like what you said about the IG, you must look at what the National Assembly, the act that has been passed into law by the National Assembly. Also, the last government also want to do that on the outgoing Inspector General.
Okay. I agree, he's not the only one that has done it. Okay, but what Buhari did was not applauded, and then he's continuing. Shall we continue?
The Resorial report. What's the update so far? The Resorial report. What's the update so far?
Now you have less than a minute to round off on that.
Talking about reduction of cost of governance? Implementation is yet to be seen.
I must say for sure that when we peep into some of this organ, that is the government organ, you will see that there are some level of moderation that is taking place. Level of moderation that is taking place. That is making, if you look, you see that some persons are crying now. They are shouting because due process is being followed. If you look at CBN, have you checked the record of CBN, the sanitation in staffs?
Okay, thank you, Bishop Austin Igbas, and big thanks, Greg Yayi.
Thank you very
And of course,
much.
big thanks to you, Matthew Edegase.